Hi, everyone, and welcome to another off-season episode of the Fantasals podcast. Hi, it's me, Claire, and for this episode, I will be sharing with you guys my attempt at making Galbijjim. It's a Korean dish, and I'm making it using the recipe that I got from the BTS recipe book. The BTS recipe book is something that you can buy from Weavers from their official shop, but you can also buy them from local resellers. We have a BTS merch reseller, K-pop merch resellers episode also here on the podcast that you can check out. I actually got a copy of my BTS recipe book from one of those resellers. I don't really remember which one, but it's definitely one of the stores that I mentioned in that episode. You can check out that episode here on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Okay, so let's start. The BTS recipe book actually has a lot of Korean recipes, mostly dishes that have been featured in some of the BTS shows like in the Soup, Bon Voyage, and all of their other specials. If you're a fan, you'd be familiar with them. So the book actually features not just the recipe, but it also has a guide for measuring, a guide on the ingredients, since some of them are very Korean, not something that we're not always familiar with. And they also have a QR code that you can use to watch a video of how this recipe is made, which is really very helpful. So I can't really share the exact recipe because I didn't follow it to the letter. I had to make the dish for more people than what the recipe serves. So I had to adjust. And also because I couldn't buy some of the ingredients here at the time. So I had to make the recipe, I guess, my own version of Galbijjim. So I will start with the ingredients. For my version of the recipe, I used 4 kilos of beef short ribs, bone-in. As per the recipe book, it's bone-in. And then the recipe book required Korean radish, but I couldn't find any, so I skipped that. And then I just added more carrots because the recipe called for some carrots. And then it also needed some leeks, but again, wala kaming leeks, so wala na lang yon. Skip na lang natin siya. And then 6 cups of water and half a cup of cheongju. And hindi ko alam kung ano yung cheongju, so what I did was I searched and they said it was something similar to soju, so I decided to just use soju. Sa recipe book, there's a separate set of ingredients for the sauce of the Galbijjim. So I used half a cup of soy sauce, and then 1 cup of sugar, daming sugar, and then I also used 3 tablespoons of minced garlic and 2 tablespoons of toasted sesame oil and a dash of black pepper. Actually, wala akong toasted sesame oil, so I just used ordinary sesame oil. Medyo mahirap maghanap dito sa probinsya ng ibang ingredients, so sorry, I had to skip on that. So, sariling version ko talaga to. So anyway, with the ingredients done, let's start with how to cook the Galbijjim. According to the recipe book, kailangang i-soak muna yung ribs sa cold water for 2 hours para yung mga red liquid niya, yung dugo-dugo ng ribs, mawala muna siya. Tapos, i-wash mo yung mga bone fragments, yung ganyan. Yung para lang talagang malinis yung ribs before mo siyang iluto. It also had the instruction to remove the extra fat. Pero nung nagtanong ako sa sister ko, since parang ang konti kasi nung kilos, tas parang pag tinanggal ko yung extra fat, baka sobrang konti na lang yung meat nung Galbijjim. So we decided to just leave the fat in, which actually, kwento ko na lang later, pero I think that was a bad idea. So yun na nga. So binabad ko muna siya in cold water for 2 hours. So mahaba pala ang proseso nitong dish na to. Medyo hindi ko in-expect. So yun. So habang nakababad siya, prepare mo naman muna yung ibang ingredients. Yung for the carrots, since yun lang yung gulay ko, yun na lang yung kinut and pinrepare, chinop muna. Syempre, peel mo siya, cut mo siya into cubes. Tapos, i-set aside mo siya para sa dish later pag ready na siya. And then, yung next naman niya is yung sauce. For the sauce, lahat lang ng ingredients na minention ko kanina na para dun sa sauce, paghahalu-haluin mo lang siya, sama-sama mo lang siya together. Tapos again, set aside mo rin siya para pag ready na yung short ribs. Tapos, so after nung 2 hours na pagbabad mo nung ribs, ang gagawin mo naman sa kanya, ilalagay mo naman siya dun sa required na number of cups of water and yung sa soju, tapos papakuluan mo na siya. Actually, parang dinagdagan ko pa nga yung water kasi although ang required kasi is around 6 cups, parang dinagdagan ko pa kasi sabi ng sister ko baka hindi maluto yung beef kasi ang konti ng water na pagpapakuluan niya. So, we added more. According to the recipe book, you have to boil the water, then simmer mo siya over medium heat for 40 minutes. And habang nangyayari yon, you skim off the foam and yung fat from the surface of the soup with the ladle para matanggal yung mga fatty parts ng ribs. Tapos, once daw na ready na yung beef mo, supposedly after 40 minutes, you can add the vegetables and the sauce. And then, yun na dapat yung lulutuin mo na siya, yung isisimmer mo na siya ng mga 20 minutes more. Pero, ang naging problem ko is, hindi pa malambot yung beef. Super tigas pa nung beef nung 40 minutes siya. So, medyo phone a friend ako sa sister ko. So, I had to ask her what I should do. Kasi, it has already taken a long time to prepare. Pero, hindi pa rin siya luto. So, naging hesitant ako to add the sauce and the vegetables after 40 minutes. What we did was, pinlace namin siya sa pressure cooker. Tapos, I think, mga 30 or 40 minutes pa rin or maybe an hour siya sa pressure cooker before siya naging ready talaga, yung malambot na yung beef. Tapos saka namin inad yung sauce and then yung vegetables. Tapos that was what we cooked for another 20 minutes over yung medium heat lang. Tapos yun, ready na yung meal. Actually, medyo as much as I want to say na naging successful yung dish na ginawa ko, yung family ko, they were happy about it. But medyo siya yung na-feel ko talaga yung pagka-fatty nung dish dahil siguro nga hindi ko tinanggal yung extra fat na sinabi from the instructions was to trim the extra fat away. Pero hindi ko siya tinanggal. So, parang nakakaumay siyang kainin. I've tried Galbijjim before and hindi siya ganon. So, parang medyo na off ako na alam ko may ginawa akong mali and parang masyado siyang masabaw. Kasi siguro ang dami kong dinagdag na water na siguro isa pa yun sa mga mali ko din. So if there are any people there who are familiar with making Galbijjim who can teach me and tell me what I did wrong, that would be great. Kasi I really want to make this right. I really want to improve on this. Kasi masarap talaga yung Galbijjim na original na natikman ko. And this one was a little oily. Oily and watery, parang sagwa. Pero I'm sure kung sinunod ko talaga yung recipe book and I followed everything, I'm sure masarap siya talaga. Parang nakakahiya lang talagang i-share sa iba yung na-attempt ko. Pero at least happy naman yung family ko. So, pwede na rin siguro, di ba? If you have any questions, comments, or violent reactions sa attempt ko at Galbijjim, you can leave a comment here on our YouTube channel. You can also leave a comment on our Twitter at The Fandesals or on Instagram at Fandesals and on Facebook at facebook.com/The Fandesals podcast. As I said, this is my first time trying Galbijjim and I got it from the BTS recipe book. I will attempt to try more from the recipe book, but that depends on whether you like this episode or not. So please leave a comment, leave a message, and let me know what you think of it. If you want to learn more about this attempt at Galbijjim that I did, yung ingredients, yung process, etc., I also posted this on my blog at clarehenny.com, so you can also look it up there. Maraming salamat po for listening to this special off-season episode of the Fandesals podcast. February is our anniversary month. It's 1 year na from when we started our audio-only episodes of the podcast. And we hope to have more years to come. Maraming salamat to everyone who's been listening to us for this entire past year. It's been a great and fun experience. And after our anniversary month, magsa-start na uli kami ng aming season 4. So I hope that you can also listen to us. And please subscribe to our Spotify, our Apple Podcasts, and also on YouTube. Sana po, pati yung aming Twitter and yung aming Instagram ay ma-follow nyo rin. Ganun din sa Facebook. And again, thank you very much for listening to this off-season episode of the Fandesals podcast. Thanks again for listening, for subscribing, for liking. And this has been Claire, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye, everyone.